Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons. Today's the 20th of April, it's a Monday, so it's time for the next chunk of my Eurovision Top 40. The past 2 weeks I've covered my 40 up to 31 and then 30 up to 21, so today I'm going from 20 up to 11, or 1 to 1 if you're that way inclined, because some languages have funny numbering systems. I'm looking at you, French, with your 420s 10-9 or something. Anyway, not really wasting any time here. I'm going to start with 20th position, and this is going to be controversial, I'm sure, Sweden. Now, I'm not going to deny I like the song. It's the first Swedish entry that I've actually liked since 2011. But it's overrated. That cannot be denied on any front, because, for instance, if you look at his performance from Eurovision in concert, which was yesterday, I think? It was sometime fairly recent. It might have been the day before. But that, compared to the Melodifestivalen performance, it goes to show that the appeal of the song comes completely from the fact that it's a spectacle to watch and not just from the song, because the song itself, as I understand it, is something of a rip-off of David Guetta's Lovers on the Sun, and so in that regard it's not original. But I've also seen an art installation, whose name I don't remember, where it looks like they've ripped off the visual style from an art installation as well, so not very much about the song is that original. I mean, yes, it's something of an earworm, yes, it's an okay song, but it's only an okay song. Now, granted, Euphoria was nothing but a 90s throwback, and not even a well-done one at that, but this one as well, if you close your eyes and shut off all of the senses and just listen to the song, it's really not that special. Obviously, it's good enough to be in number 20 on my list, but it's not special. Please get over the fact that it's Sweden. In 19th position is Montenegro. Now, I don't have a lot to say about Montenegro, because yes, it's a Željko Joksimovic song, and I really do admire his work, but as Željko's songs go, again, this one's not all that special. Obviously, I like it more than I like Sweden because it's one place higher, and I suppose Željko is kind of like Jason in the regard that he's written this song for someone else and had very little involvement in it, but that's just based on what I've heard in Ben Charles Gray's Eurovision Wipe 2015, which I'll put a link to in the description. Please go and check that out because he's really funny. Although I don't personally agree in this instance. I suppose I should respect Željko less than I do, but it feels like he cares more about his entries than Jason does. And this isn't an example of his work. I don't think it's the best example of his work, but Knez certainly does it justice. I'll say that much. Although it isn't as memorable as some of the other ones, like Oro, Lane Moje, Leila, and Nia Ljubavstva. That's, I think, my favourite Željko Joksimovic song of all time. And even non-Eurovision ones like Ludak Kao Ja. This isn't his finest hour, but even when he's not on fine form, he's brilliant. So, Montenegro. 18th place is Israel. Now, yes, this song's a little bit, viciously twisting hand, but I like the story that it tells. It's something unique. Well, not unique, but it's something relatively fresh, and it's a bit of fun. There's nothing wrong with having a fun song in the contest, and I respect Israel for doing that. And it's hard to believe that he's so young as well. He's younger than me. What? Yeah, I'm here in Newcastle speaking into a webcam about Eurovision. He's 2 years younger than me at least, and he's then going to Vienna to sing. How? How does this work? Well, he's very talented for someone his age. I'm not basing how much I like the song based on how talented he is as an individual, because that's not the be-all end-all, but the fact that he has a song that I enjoy, and like I said, it's fun, and that's not necessarily all that one needs, but in this instance it does help a lot. I think live performance will sell this song even more so, because it's a bit of harmless fun, which means it may not do as well as perhaps it should, but I think the live performance will certainly help. 17th, Belarus. Belarus. I approve of what they're doing with it. And the more recent iterations of the song, they've changed how Maimuna does her violin bit, so it's not just her following along with Yuzari's vocals. Like, her violin is singing its own tune, but, you know, in harmony, rather than just being an aid to Yuzari's sense of timing, as it were. So it's a creative song. It's a really good showcase for Maimuna's violin talent, as well as Yuzari's singing voice, obviously, but I think Eurovision requires that you sing words when you perform, and so Maimuna wouldn't have any other avenue into the contest unless she were to collaborate with another artist, and that's what she's done, and it's come across very well, although the music video kind of is a bit weird, because it's like, help, I'm stuck in an hourglass, and now you're stuck in an hourglass, fuck you! But I found that amusing. It wasn't intended to be amusing, but that's just how I interpreted it. But yeah, I like the song. It's catchy, it's pleasant, and it's just, yes. That was a weird gesture, but I like it. Now, in 16th place, kind of sorry about this one, Greece. I'm not sure how to introduce it, because when I first reviewed the song, I did say, you know, it's one of the best. It did stick out as a potential candidate to win. And I feel like, on a raw academic level, that does still apply. It just hasn't generated the amount of hype surrounding it that would otherwise precede a winner. So I feel like her chances of winning have been hampered by the fact that people haven't really created a hype train for her. But on paper, this song would be a candidate to win. And she recently released a version in Greek called Mia Anapnoi, which means one breath as opposed to one last breath. And I've heard that, and that's good too. She's going to perform it in English on the night, but I feel like a bit of Greek wouldn't go amiss. And you know, this song does still impress me. I do still very much enjoy it. It's dramatic, it's sweeping, and it's not a breath of fresh air by any means, but I still enjoy it. It's a well-done piece of drama, I suppose. Especially the way the song ends. It just feels so natural and right, especially compared to some of the other songs, not just this year, but in general, where sometimes the end of a song feels forced or rushed or just kind of going through the motions, whereas this one, it feels like the song's brought to a natural conclusion, and I admire that. In 15th place, the first debutante of the 2010s, the lovely, lovely Australia. Now, I'm going to make another reference to Ben Charles Gray's Eurovision wipe. I agree with him, and this isn't just me blindly following what he said. This is something that a conclusion I came to by myself. I do find it hard to believe that the EBU will just tell Australia to fuck off if they don't win. I feel like they're going to be a slightly more permanent fixture than it seems like at the moment. Like, they're not just going to say, oh, well, if you finished in the final, because they're automatic finalists, oh, you finished at top 27, that's good enough, come back next year. Like, they're not going to say, oh, you only came 8th, no, don't bother next year. Like, they're not going to do that, surely. I find it, like, I'll put it this way. I know this isn't really relevant to why I put 15th, because I like the song, it's my 15th favourite, although the top 15, I think, are really so close, it's almost impossible to call. So, Australia just got a bit unlucky in my own personal internal draw. But, like, if I can just say, just consider this. If Australia were to be taken on as a participant in general, then that would lower fees for all the other participating countries. If Australia were taken on as a permanent Big Six member, then they would pay the amount of money that the other Big Five members pay. And bearing in mind, the Big Five, I think it's something like they pay double what all of the other contestants combined pay, or something like that. Like, there are some insane proportions going on there. So just imagine, if Australia were to put forward that amount of money as well, that would lower participation fees for so many other countries. And just think of the countries that don't take part at the moment because of financing. You know, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Croatia, Bulgaria, Andorra, I think, Monaco, Luxembourg, all these countries could come back just by virtue of making Australia a permanent Big Six member, because they could foot the bill. They are happy to, and frankly, they are welcome to, especially if they're going to send a song as good as they have done this year. There's my segue. I like it, okay? 14th position, the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. I'm using the full name just so I don't cause any offence. I know there are kind of touchy technicalities between Macedonia and Greece about the situation there, so I don't want to cause any offence. But I will admit, I preferred the Macedonian version of the song. I preferred Lisia Esenski, just because of the arrangement, the tempo, and, you know, I'm not sure. I think that version with English lyrics would have probably placated me just as much, and I'm not saying the new version is by any means bad, because it's still beautiful. It's a reinterpretation of what they had, and they've elevated it into an art form, and so, hence 14th place. But I don't know, I prefer the original version, but that's not to say that I dislike the current version, because the current version is gorgeous, and it really sells the story that the music video puts forward. It does convey the emotion. Like, I think Licia Esenski, the original, felt a bit more like I'm singing a story and it's a pop song, whereas here it's I'm telling a story in musical form, but it's a story, so the emphasis is more on the story. Still, I think, like I said, they've put it into an art form, and it works really well. In 13th place, I know this won't win me any fans, but like I said, the top 15 is so close they could be in pretty much any order at this point, but 13th place is Slovenia, and I do really, really, really like Slovenia. It's just my top 15 is so close. But yes, I do agree that this is one of Slovenia's best Eurovision entries ever. I think I preferred their entry last year, but that's just because I really liked Tinkaro Kovac's flute skills. But Maria, the pair of them, they come a very, very, very insanely close second to last year. In my personal opinion, I love their song this year. I really like what they've done with the violin. Admittedly, the air violin miming kind of looks a bit silly in the staging, and again, I agree with Ben Charles Gray. There isn't much of a connection between them on stage. It feels very much like Mariah is presented as just the woman, rather than them as a pair, because there's no connection between them. He's just a musician, and then there's this air violin going on. Like, the staging could use some work, but the song itself is absolutely, as the children say, on fleek. It's marvellous, and I like the bit towards the end where you've just got the drum and the violin, and that's going to go down so well in the hall. I'm sure it will anyway, because I like the song, I love what they're doing with it, they just need to work on the staging a bit. In 12th place, welcome back to the Czech Republic, because I think I said in my review, this is the Czech Republic's best song of the 4 they've ever sent. I did like the 2008 one, but the live performance was shoddy. I like the 2007 one, it was just the wrong place at the wrong time. But this year, now, they're such an adorable couple as well, because if you've seen them in their interviews on Eurovision.tv, they go so well together. Like, they're nowhere near as moody as the song suggests, but I really do like the song. I just like everything about it. It's so uplifting, and again, it's a really artful way of conveying a story. Admittedly, this story does obsess a little bit too much over ravens, but so yeah, I just really, I suppose there is something about it that I can't quite place, I admit, but I do really, really like it, and I'm really happy the Czech Republic came back to the contest, especially with this sort of song. They're back, they mean business, and that is conveyed so clearly through the song, which, like I said, it's a work of art, and I appreciate it, I enjoy it. Now finally, in 11th place, just missing out my top 10, and I mean just, like, there is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of points in it for me here. But 11th place is Moldova. Moldova/Ukraine. I kind of consider it a joint effort between the two, because Eduard Romaniuta is Ukrainian, and obviously Ukraine couldn't join us this year, so kind of a joint effort. But yes, Moldova, I keep comparing it to Britney Spears, and I do have a bit of a soft spot for that kind of early 2000s pop, but it's early 2000s pop presented in a distinctly 2015 style, and I like how it's done. Admittedly, the song does come across as a little bit forceful, out of context, I suppose, but I like it, it's catchy, and he seems like a nice guy as well. I just hope that his live performance is better than it was in the national final, because that was a bit shoddy, but I like the song. It's funky, it's catchy, and I just like it, you know? It's not the most happy joy song out there, but it's a song that I can happily enjoy. Wordplay? No? Well, anyway, that's my 20 up to 11th place, so just a quick recap. That is, if I can get my hands in the right place, Sweden, Montenegro, Israel, Belarus, Greece, Australia, Macedonia, Slovenia, the Czech Republic, and Moldova/Ukraine. I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and I will see you in whichever of my videos you happen to choose to watch next, if you choose to do so. Goodbye.